By now, you already know there's a particularly hyperactive tendency amongst Pixar filmmakers to include Easter eggs and callbacks and sometimes forwards to their other movies. It's a bigger part of the Pixar experience as it is watching a Marvel or DC movie, as directors race to hide as many homages and references, knowing the audience demand more and more reasons to rewatch the films. And even amongst all those cameos and Pizza Planet truck appearances, there are some Easter eggs that even the most committed of fans totally wouldn't have seen first time out. I'm Plumpy from Whatculture.com, and here are 10 seriously secret Pixar movie Easter eggs you never noticed. Number 10, The Lion King, A Bug's Life. Since its debut a massive 20 years ago, oh god I'm old, The Lion King musical has been ever present on the stage circuit and one of the most marketable shows in Disney history. It should come as no surprise then, it gets absolutely f***ing everywhere, including the cosmopolitan bug city that Flick visits after striking out on his own in A Bug's Life. Look, there it is! Number 9, the Good Dinosaur hint, Inside Out. Pixar love hiding links to their future movies, and in Inside Out there was a cameo hidden within a dream in the most Inception of styles. The quirky pet collector Triceratops, otherwise known as Forrest Woodbrush, who was voiced by director Peter Son, originally appeared as part of one of Reilly's happy memories, though his menagerie didn't make the cut. In another call forward to the same film, Arlo actually debuted in Monsters University as a toy because the initial plan was to release The Good Dinosaur before Inside Out and immediately after the Monsters prequel. Number 8, Linguinis Pants, Ratatouille. If you noticed this one while the film was on, you should probably question why you were so compelled to peer urgently down a cartoon man's trousers, but then if that's your sort of thing, you'll have noticed that fledgling chef Linguini was wearing pants dedicated to another Pixar property. Those red pants with their immediately recognizable black and yellow details are clearly an homage to The Incredibles, suggesting that when he's not poring over cookery books, Linguini is a massive nerd. Knock the cookery book out of his hands because he's a dweeb. Get him, kill him, set fire to him. Sorry. Number 7, The Graves Toy Story of Terror. Though some might forget about the Toy Story shorts when it comes to discussing the best Pixar moments, the Toy Story of Terror in particular is a great expansion of the franchise with some wonderful genre homages. In the opening horror movie sequence, damsel in distress Betsy runs into a tombstone marked Simon J. Palladino, otherwise known as the real name of Gazerbeam, one of the superhero victims killed by Syndrome in The Incredibles. Rather cleverly, his epitaph reads, "A public servant with a unique vision." Do you get it? Some of the other gravestones in the same scene are dedicated to other dearly departed characters, Coral from Finding Nemo, and Gusteau, the ghostly chef from Ratatouille. Number 6, Catastrophe Scene, The Incredibles. As anyone who saw the incredibly meta Tomorrowland will be able to attest, Brad Bird loves a movie reference, particularly when he has a chance to reference his own past work. He did just that in The Incredibles in an incredibly subtle way. As Bob Parr apathetically reads a newspaper at the dinner table, one of the subheadings on the front page reads, "Catastrophe Scene as Crisis Looms," which is clearly a cheeky nod to the headline seen on the paper read by Harriet Connick Jr.'s Dean McCoppin, reading "Disaster Scene as Catastrophe Looms." That in itself was a reference back to the headline that is chomped out of Jim Deere's newspaper in Lady and the Tramp. Number 5, Reilly, Finding Dory. Just like all of his predecessors, Finding Dory was packed with Easter eggs and hidden references to past films, including Finding Nemo, of course, they're both set in the sea, but also to the wider shared universe. At one point, there's a cameo by former villainess Dahl, whose portrait appears above one of the desks in the Marine Life Institute, but even more well hidden is an appearance by Inside Out star Reilly, who is one of the kids spied through the aquarium tank's glass wall when Dory ends up in the open ocean exhibit. Number 4, the short titles Toy Story. At the very start of Toy Story, when Woody collects the toys to make his daily announcements, he sets up his podium in front of a bookshelf, on which are books named after some of the studio's early shorts. The Adventures of Andre and Wally B. Red's Dream, Tin Toy and Knick Knack. There's also a nod to John Lasseter as an author. Later, they paid similar homage in Toy Story 2, where the shorts feature during the sequence in which Ham speeds through the channels looking for the Owl's Toy Barn commercial. They're blinking you'll miss them, but they're there. Number 3, The Brave Tapestry, Cars 2. Cars 2 might well have been the weakest of Pixar's films to date. Maybe Good Dinosaur? Who knows? But it did feature one of the most joyously obscure Easter eggs. During the British Grand Prix stage, when the villains try to destroy Lightning McQueen, two of them, Asa and Graham, are forced into the left turn in Pixar's take on a quaint British pub by Holly Shiftwell, where they make a right old mess. If you pay enough attention to the background, you'll see a Cars universe version of the royal tapestry from Brave, with the Dunbrock family, including Merida, reimagined as Cars. Look at that. Aww, Cars. Number 2, The Shining references Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 director Lee Unkrich has openly proclaimed he is a massive fan of The Shining, and he clearly tried to get as many homages as he could into the film. First, there's Velocistar 237, the off-screen cyber love interest who talks to Trixie the Triceratops, whose name is clearly a reference to Room 237. The same number appears as part of the registration on the garbage truck Sid rides on towards the end, and it's also featured on the side of a CCTV camera in Sunnyside, whose make and model is Overlook 237, which obviously also references The Shining's Overlook Hotel. More more obscurely, in the scene featuring the sinister monkey watching the CCTV cameras at Sunnyside, it turns out his microphone is the same one Wendy uses in Kubrick's Horror, and a box of tissues carries the same design as the Overlook Hotel's carpets. Oh, and the Sunnyside janitor is called Mr. Tony, the same name as Danny's imaginary friend in the movie. This all calls back to the use of the Overlook's famous carpet from the first Toy Story in Sid's house. God damn. And number 1, the Fredericks postcard, Toy Story 3. The most popular Pixar Easter eggs tend to be those that suggest the characters across multiple films are related to each other, and which feeds into the wider Pixar shared universe theory. The best comes courtesy of the background of Toy Story 3 and the notice board in Andy's bedroom, which is covered in post-its, posters, and snapshots of Andy's life. In amongst them is a postcard just about visible that says it comes from Carl and Ellie Fredrickson, the adorable couple from Up. Presumably they did get to travel at one point in their lives rather than missing out on their dream and are somehow related to Andy. Why else would they be sending him a postcard after all? That's weird. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and you can follow us at Whatculture.
Oh, hello there. I'm billionaire philanthropist, not Bruce Wayne, and as you may have heard, we've actually started up a Whatculture comics channel. Oh, that's better. Where you can go for all the comics lists, all the comics news, and all the comics discussion. So go and subscribe to Whatculture Comics for loads of amazing comics coverage.